Hello, and welcome to myfinanceteacher.org. Have you guys noticed that gold has been doing well recently? Let's talk about that. Before we continue, let me remind you guys to subscribe to the channel if you haven't and click that bell notification. Thanks a lot. So with the recent strength in gold, it's more clear that the previous intermediate cycle in gold has most likely finished in the middle of November, stretching for the usual period of around half a year since May to November. And those who have been listening to my channel over the last few weeks, we've been accumulating, but not before gold let 200-day moving average catch up with price a little bit. Now that the new intermediate cycle has started, I'm pretty confident that gold is going to do well over the next several months, at least over the next 3 months, possibly 4 months, as these intermediate cycles last for about half a year. And if we give gold a couple of months to decline at the end of this intermediate cycle, that leaves us another 4 months or so to enjoy this strength in gold, possibly reaching to 1600, which would be nice. That, however, over the duration of possibly a couple of daily cycles, but within the nearest daily cycle, which has already been going on since the middle of November, that's around 1.5 months already, and these usually last for about 2.5 months. So within the ongoing daily cycle, we are somewhat mature within this normal period. However, I still think we have a week or two of strength in gold before we drop into the short-term daily cycle decline. However, I don't suggest people to try to catch that daily cycle top. I don't suggest people sell any of their gold. I'm going to hold it for the next several months, as I said, until I think the whole intermediate cycle has possibly reached close to its peak. Nevertheless, in the ongoing daily cycle, the nearest several resistance zones are the price levels of around 1520, formed by the recent highs. The next resistance zone is at about 1535, formed by the highs in the middle of August and late September. And of course, the more significant resistance at about 1555, formed by the previous top in the previous intermediate cycle. So over the next couple of weeks, I think there is a good chance gold is going to slice through 1520, as we're already close to that level, and will possibly reach one of these next resistance zones when we top in the current daily cycle. RSI is already tangent to that overbought territory, but this is only the beginning of the intermediate cycle, and if we look at what happened at the beginning of the previous intermediate cycle, the first daily cycle of that previous intermediate cycle didn't top until RSI was deep into overbought territory. So I'm very happy with what gold is doing right now, and I'm going to hang on to that over the next several months, even though we will see some cool-off periods, which might possibly start at some of these resistance zones. In the longer term, even beyond the ongoing intermediate cycle, I'm quite bullish on gold, because if you look at other currencies, for example, the top 3 currencies making up the DXY index are the Euro, Japanese Yen, and British Pound. Looking at those currencies, gold has actually already made a higher all-time high in September this year compared to the previous high in 2011-2012. Same picture with Japanese Yen, new all-time high this December compared to the previous all-time high in 2013, and in British Pound, new all-time high again in September versus the previous one in 2011. So in many other currencies, gold has already created higher prices than in those good old days 8-9 years ago, and I think it's only a matter of time before we see all-time highs in US dollar. Again, of course, it's not going to happen in the ongoing intermediate cycle. We will probably need several of these cycles, which means several years. But in the very long term, as I said, I think gold is going to do very well. After all, although compared to 2011-2012, US dollar has strengthened against those currencies, this is the US dollar index against other currencies, it is much stronger. However, this is just a comparison of fiat money, and all the way since 2008-2009 financial crisis, All central banks all over the world have been printing a lot of this fiat money, and the value of fiat money itself has actually deteriorated. Let's look at CPI. This is Consumer Price Index according to the Fed. In 2011, let's just even take a value of 225 for CPI and compare that to the current value of, let's say, 257. That is a 14% increase in price level, meaning that even though US dollar seems to be stronger, that's just against other currencies. Whereas the purchasing power of the US dollar itself has already declined by 14%, by over 14% since 2011. So that's the main reason why I'm confident that gold will do very well over the next several years. And for now, let's just enjoy the ride to 1600 over the next couple of months. With that in mind, you know what you gotta do. If you want to see gold at 1600 in early 2020, you must hit that like button, subscribe to the channel to stay tuned, hit that bell notification so you don't miss the updates, and good luck in your trades.